April 8th, 9th, and 10th are some of the highest holy days for the satanic occult. Thelema, which was established by Aleister Crowley, is centralized around the sacred text, the Book of the Law, which was written April 8th, 9th, and 10th in 1904. He was on his honeymoon with his new wife in Cairo, Egypt, when they slipped into a trance and wrote this book. Each day at noon, April 8th, 9th, and 10th, they wrote one chapter each, which only took 1 hour to write. He said that the 3 chapters are spoken by the Egyptian deities Nut, Hadit, and Ra. He also proclaimed that during this time, he was in direct communication with his holy guardian angel, who is named Iwas. Crowley came from a wealthy Christian family. His parents were evangelists. He did attend Trinity College at the University of Cambridge. He then would kind of take matters into his own hands, where he went on to study Buddhism, Hinduism, and Islam. So this was a very educated man. He was very familiar with the Kabbalah. So he knew the Bible inside and out. So this man probably understood religion much more than most people did. Again, he is the founder of the New Age religion, which rejects Christianity but morphs all of the other pagan religions into something that one may do as thou wilt. Crowley was a world traveler. He was a mountaineer. He was an artist. He painted. He did poetry. He was a novelist. He was a major author. He published books all over the course of his lifetime. He was a ceremonial magician, a philosopher, and a chemist. I mean, this is just one of those people that almost seems to have too many experiences for one lifetime. So now that we know a little bit about who he was, this is really the point of the video, is to understand his relationship with magic, theology, and what he came to do as a prophet of Satan. So he told his disciple Carl Germer that magic is getting into communication with individuals who exist on a higher plane than ours. Mysticism is the raising of oneself to their level. Crowley saw magic as a third way between religion and science, giving the equinox of the subtitle, The Method of Science, the Aim of Religion. Within that journal, he expressed a positive sentiment towards the scientific method and urged magicians to keep detailed records of their magical experiments, having said, the more scientific the record is, the better. His understanding of magic was also influenced by the framework of the anthropologist James Frazer, and the particular belief that magic was a precursor to science in a cultural evolutionary framework. These are key terms. They were looking to evolutionize culture through combining science with magic. And he understood that they needed to have a documentation of how the scientific method proves their magic. So Crowley believed that magic and science go hand in hand, and that the scientific method had to verify magic, and that magic verified the scientific method. So he was a pioneer in the evolution of the framework of how the occult practices magic. Out with the old, in with the new. Crowley had a very broad definition of the word magic and what magic truly was. What he was trying to change in society was the understanding of magic and the way that it is practiced. He believed that magic included almost all forms of technology. So just think about where we are now, and as we cusp this new age of information, and we know that it's scary. You know, you can love technology and appreciate how far we've come, but you would be a fool not to think that we are cusping a very dangerous era of you know, diving in a little bit too deep as far as technology is concerned. So he believed that magic included all forms of technology, as well as adopting a definition that magic, science, and technology really were all one thing. So sexuality played a huge role in Crowley's magic. He used it as a foundational piece of magic ritual. So there were 3 different branches of sex magic: autoerotic, homosexual, and heterosexual. And which kind of sex magic you would use would depend on what the goal of the magic was, whether it was for financial gain or personal creative success, etc. This is really disgusting, so if you have kids in the room, they cannot hear this. He treated sex as a sacrament, with consumption of sexual fluids interpreted as a Eucharist. This was often manifested as the cakes of light, a biscuit containing either, I can't even say it, but different kinds of bodily fluids on a biscuit would be consumed as a part of the religious ceremony in Thelema. So while many considered Crowley to be a Satanist, he did not consider himself to be a Satanist. From what I'm understanding, most of this is because he didn't agree with the Christian perception of who Satan is. He did, in specific works, identify Satan as, and this is his quote, "our Lord God, the devil." So he also referred to himself, Crowley referred to himself as the Beast 666. He also referred to the Whore of Babylon in his work. He referred to multiple of his female love interests as the Scarlet Woman. He incorporated a lot of what you find in the Book of Revelation in his writings. He also was accused of advocating for human sacrifice. In his 4th book, he stated that a male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most satisfactory victim. Really, Crowley was one of the very first advocates for gay rights. So he advocated that there should never be any shame associated with sexuality, as long as that was somebody's true preference, that they would pursue what they were truly interested in. Hence the do as thou wilt being the foundation of everything that he believed in. His whole idea was to essentially abolish Abrahamic law, any Abrahamic religion, because he felt that they were very oppressive, and he believed that he was the prophet that would bring to the people true liberation of life, that one can do whatever they want, and that also, you know, you can achieve just this this absolute ascending of the normal human race, and that one can meet spiritual beings from another dimension through sexual immorality, through sexual rituals, through child sacrifice, through all of these things. Although he did claim to not be violent, but he also said that a young, smart, innocent boy was the highest offering that one could give. So here we have a sketch that Crowley did of Lamb, who was an entity or being that Crowley claimed to have encountered while trying to open a portal to another dimension. We've all seen images just like this one. Some people call them little grays, but there are thousands of encounters all over the world that are very similar with beings like this one. These beings are said to be eternal, ancient, and futuristic from a dimension beyond perception of time. They transcend barriers of time and space. So the takeaway from this is that Crowley was way before his time with trying to open another dimension. Now we see science continuing to try to do the same thing. So now to bring us to today, Aleister Crowley wrote that book 120 years ago, and now 120 years later, on the Feast of the Book of the Law, during a week of high spirituality from many different religions and origins of the world, we have Cern conducting a major experiment the same week. So the logo of Cern, you can see very clearly, is 3 6s. Why is their logo 666? The mission of Cern is this is right off of their website. At Cern, our work helps to uncover what the universe is made of and how it works. We do this by providing a unique range of particle accelerator facilities to researchers to advance the boundaries of human knowledge. While Cern's website is rather elusive, if you dig hard enough, you can find out what they're doing. And what I'm understanding is they're trying to discover black matter and holes in this dimension, as well as small black holes. Those are things that you can that are clearly listed on their website. There are a number of experiments that they have done over the years. Their primary location is in Geneva, Switzerland. There is another Large Hadron Collider in, I believe, Atlanta, Georgia. It's somewhere in Georgia. I'm not sure if that one is being used. They've shut down and reopened over the years, but the location we're talking about today is the one in Geneva, Switzerland. So here, this is right outside the headquarters of Cern. They have a statue of the deity Shiva, the Hindu deity Shiva, who is a transvestite god. It is neither male or female, it's both. Through his third eye, he has the ability to burn anyone, even other gods, to ash. It also has the power to create demons that are powerful enough to decapitate gods. It has 5 powers to include creation, preservation, destruction, concealing grace, and relieving grace. So, no idea why that's right outside this very scientific organization, but you can draw your own conclusions. So not long ago, just in 2012, Cern discovered the Higgs boson particle, also known as the God particle. It is believed that, and I'm going to read straight off their website, it is believed that by measuring the properties of the Higgs boson in detail, it is crucial to exploring many outstanding mysteries in particle physics and cosmology, from the wild variation of masses to the elementary particles to the fate of the universe. So they think that by using this Large Hadron Collider, they can understand how matter came into being at the creation of the universe, or the origin of the universe, because I don't necessarily know if they believe in creation, but they do believe that there was an origin and there was a point where there was no matter, and that's what they want to understand. And they think that they can also understand the future of the universe by continuing to explore this God particle with the Hadron Collider. So we talk about the happenings at Cern. I've mentioned the rockets being launched by NASA. We talked about the importance of realizing, or the significance rather, of the occurrence of these high holy days of the occult all occurring at the same time. I think probably everybody at this point, or at least most people, have seen that the eclipse is passing through 7 towns in the United States called Nineveh. I assume that most people understand the significance of that, but through having conversation with people, I realize not everybody does. Nineveh in the Bible was the town that God called Jonah to prophesy in. Jonah decided he didn't want to. He wasn't going to do it. And then that is when he was swallowed by the great fish. There are different ideas on if he actually died in the fish's belly and was resurrected, or if he remained alive. But either way, God showed Jonah, if I call you to complete an assignment, then you complete it. It's not a debate, especially when it's for the kingdom, when it is considering deliverance of God's children. So when we as believers see this sign in the heavens from God that, look at the story of Nineveh in the Bible. They were called to repent and turn, and they did that in that land. They called a corporate fast and they prayed, and those people repented and turned. And if they did not, the message from Jonah was that their land was going to be overthrown in 40 days. So when we look at the way that God works and that he is a God of cycles and repetition, because we are slow to learn, we know that he is warning us, because if we don't heed his warning, something is going to happen. I don't know what that's going to be, but I don't want to find out either. So I feel that I got a word from the Lord that he said, if I saved 120,000 in Nineveh during that account recorded in the Bible, how many more will I save? This occurrence has our country, everybody looking up to the heavens for this sign. This has got the attention of everybody. So when we as believers are out talking with people about what's happening, it's important to educate them on what happened in Nineveh if they don't know. We need to tell them what happened then, so that they understand the heaviness of this situation. America is Babylon. It is disgusting what we have become, and we don't need to be that. I'm realizing there's so much more that I wanted to put in this video, as far as this year being the year of the red heifers, and the speculation that Israel is going to be sacrificing those red heifers possibly this month, by the Passover, or possibly for the Passover, which is in 2 weeks. And then there's the idea, there's the fact that also April 8th is according to the Gregorian calendar, that is the Hebrew New Year. It is Nisan 1. Interestingly enough, it is also the new year of the religion that we talked about in the beginning of this video, the occultist religion that Aleister Crowley founded. I think it's interesting that both of those New Years intersect. It is also the end of Ramadan, so you have the entire Islamic State praying and fasting to their false god. So as believers, it is time to stop playing when it comes to praying and fasting, especially in this country. So all of this to say, there are so many signs, there are so many different indications that God is trying to wake his people up. So, I am pleading with my fellow believers to join forces and pray and fast together. I have a meeting here shortly with the leadership of my congregation to talk about possibly setting up a call for that. Obviously, that's going to be first come, first serve, but if you're interested, get a hold of me. Either send me a message, drop your email below, or I will actually, do I want to put my email online? I will. I will attach my email address below, and you can email me if you would like to be a part of that prayer call. Like I said, first come, first serve, but as many as we can get praying for this country over the course of this week, the better. But even if you don't pray with me, just please be very, very decisive and just full of intent with your prayer time, and find a way to fast, please. That's what God is telling us: pray and fast and help his people turn. I know a specific prayer of mine will be against the lie of the new age. because this week is all about that, as I spent so much time discussing in this video at the beginning of the video. So we need to pray that people are woken up, that the scales are removed from their eyes, and that they would see the lies of this false doctrine, and they would turn to the one and only true God. So thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this video. If you find it useful, please share it with as many people as possible. Blessings. Shalom.